So this is the group. Okay, never mind. She didn't mention that. So before I start, let me ask you a question first.
Okay, that's my life.
Oh, sorry. It's all yours now.
So, hi guys! Before I start, let me ask you a question first. Who are you online? We live in a time where being visible means being edited, where confidence often comes with filters, and identity is shaped by algorithms. In a world where everything we do online adds to your personal brand, it's easy to forget where your true self ends and your created self begins. But sometimes, do you stop and think, is this still me? Or just someone I created to impress others?
So today, they are going to talk about the curated self and ask how these platforms shape the way they see themselves, and more importantly, how they value themselves. So we're gonna ask, what is curated self and its effects?
The curated self is the version of ourselves that we build online. It's the one we want other people to see and the one that gets likes, compliments, and attention. And social media encourages that. Apps like Instagram and TikTok are built around how you present yourself. It's not just about posting anymore. It's about performing. You're always thinking, how will people see this? Will it get likes? Will it fit my aesthetic? We choose what parts of our lives to show. Over time, that pressure builds. At first, it feels harmless, just choosing the best photo, but then you start wondering if your real everyday self is even worth showing. You begin to hide the messy parts, the quiet days, and the not so perfect moments. The problem is that over time, we start to believe that that version is more important than their real selves.
It stopped being just about sharing. For them, it turned into a performance. Every post, every moment became something to be curated not for themselves, but for how others might see it. And that's when things began to shift. Their sense of worth slowly tied itself to reactions, likes, comments, shares, not to who they truly were. The real issue was how it began to distort the way they saw themselves.
Social media makes it super easy to hide the parts of your life that don't look perfect, and because everyone is doing that, posting only their best moments, it creates this illusion that everyone else has it all together. So naturally, we compare our life to or ourselves to them. We scroll and think, why doesn't my life look like that? Or why don't I have that kind of body or lifestyle? Those comparisons will start affecting your confidence. You begin to believe that your unfiltered in real life is not enough. It's not just about showing off anymore, it's becoming more the needing of other people's approval and validation to feel okay. And the more we depend on that validation, the harder it is for us to build a sense of self. According to some studies, like the one from the Macquarie University in 2024, that kind of constant comparison and performance can lead to anxiety, depression, and identity confusion. So yeah, it's more than just a social media. It's something that affects how we can grow and how we think and how we see ourselves and our own worth.
So why does it matter?
I think people underestimate how much this affects us. Like for example, you post something and suddenly your whole mood depends on how your post does. If it gets a bunch of likes, you'll feel good about yourself. And if it flops, you start second guessing of everything and start thinking about, was it cringe? Or am I not interesting enough? And the crazy part is we don't even realize we're doing it. It just becomes automatic. After a while, it's not just about your posts. You start adjusting your personality, your style, even your opinions, just to fit whatever version of yourself you created online. And that version starts to feel more important than the real one. It's subtle, but it builds up. And the more we rely on online approval and validation to feel good, the harder it gets for us to know who we are without it.
For me, the biggest issue is how easy it is to start changing yourself just to be like online. I know sometimes you catch yourself saying or posting things just because you know they'll get a reaction. and not because they actually represent the real you. After doing that for a while, you kinda lose track of who you really are. And it gets even worse when you start comparing yourself. You scroll on your feed and see people your age who seem to have their life all together. And then you start feeling like you're falling behind, even though deep down you know it's just highlights. It still messes with you. And you start thinking you're not enough unless you look a certain way, act a certain way, or live a certain lifestyle.
So for her personal experience, she says she started with just using filters, fixing the lighting, smoothing her skin a bit. She didn't think much of it at first, 'cause felt normal.
Everyone edits their photos, right?
But it slowly became her habit. She wouldn't post anything unless it looked perfect. And then she started noticing that when she looked at her actual unfiltered face, she didn't feel right anymore. She wasn't used to seeing her real self.
I was overthinking everything I should, from captions, stories, even the way I replied to people. I felt like I had to stay consistent with this version of me that people expected. And honestly, it got exhausting. I felt like I was performing, not just online, but even offline.
She eventually took a step back and reflected. She asked herself if she's posting this because she wants to, or because she wants people to see her in a certain way. And she realized
I was basing too much of my self-worth on how I look online. Now, I try to post when it actually feels like me.
as their conclusion they all have experienced, social media can strongly influence the way they see ourselves and shape how they want to be seen by others. But it's important to remember that constant comparison, pressure to appear perfect, and need for validation can distort our sense of authenticity. We are more than our likes, followers, or curated posts. Let's take time to reflect on who we are beyond the screen and embrace our flaws and differences.